Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us for this week's studio session of the Speakers Collaborative, which is a fun program that I started a couple of years ago. I say fun, and have recently expanded. If you want to know all about the Speakers Collaborative, go to www.thespeakerscollaborative.com. I'm excited today to have our guest, Darren Mast. Darren is a friend of mine who recently launched a whole bunch of stuff. Darren, thank you. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. Stuff. That's a good descriptive there.
Stuff. I know. I'm sure everybody loves it when I say that. Anyway, all right, Darren, tell us who you are.
I am Darren Mass. I am the crazy guy that wears the crazy hats on LinkedIn. I've hiked up mountains. I've been in corporate America. I've taken an exit or two. I've been a Fortune 500 president, publicly traded company, and now I am all about coaching, inspiring, mentoring people on LinkedIn, business, and life.
Nice.
I made that up right there.
That was on the spot, wasn't it? I love that.
Yeah.
Where are you?
Earth.
Earth. Yeah, I know.
Where am I as far as relation?
Right? Yeah.
I am in New Jersey.
New Jersey.
It's that place that everyone likes to make fun of, but I swear it's great. I'm on the mainland, grew up in Long Island, lived in Manhattan for more than a dozen years, and I moved out west with my wife. 3 wonderful, beautiful daughters that don't annoy me ever. And yeah, currently in my home.
When you say out west, what I hear is like Arizona. I grew up in New Mexico, but you're saying west as in New Jersey.
Yeah, when you grew up in Long Island, the 51st state to many Long Islanders,
Everything west.
anything west is out west, right? So I made it onto the mainland.
Awesome. Excellent. Tell me an interesting fact about you other than the hats.
Play guitar. I picked up guitar at the age of 40 years old. I grew up playing the drums since I was 9. Loved it. I was in rock bands and almost got signed. Went to college, got lost there, and always had a desire to learn the guitar. And then when COVID hit and I was locked into my prison like everyone else, I saw a master class with Tom Morello, and I turned to my wife and I said, "That's a good time to learn the guitar."
Why not?
So now I can play the guitar.
All right. Of the guitars I see in the background, which one is your favorite?
Oh, the Les Paul, the HP right there.
Of course.
Yeah, by far. I do. The other one's a PRS, Paul Reed Smith. It's awesome. It's fun, 24 fret, but it's nothing like a Les Paul.
Now, did they know before I asked the question which one was the favorite?
Most people do.
I'm talking about guitars. They have personalities.
They do. So I'm into rock and roll,
Right.
which is heavily rooted in blues. And to play the blues on Les Paul with the sustain and the weight to it, it feels more connected.
That's right.
But also, if you want to shred, that's not the quickest guitar to shred on, and that's where a PRS comes in. And no, I can't shred. I'm not there.
You can't shred yet.
When you grow up learning an instrument, your muscle memory kicks in quicker. Your fear threshold, the way you think, it's not the same as when you're an adult. When you're an adult, I'm really focusing on, okay, the right hand has to do this, the left hand has to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Learning the drums, it was just like, all right, start hitting, and hey, that's making sense and it works.
Yeah. And your hands did this the whole time.
Yeah.
To shred, you got to like move.
You have to do a lot of things that are not natural after 44 years of life.
I get it. Totally get it. All right. That's awesome. I want to hear you play sometime. Are you going to get in a band, or is this purely a hobby?
This is purely for me. I want to pick up my old Guns N' Roses songs that I always loved. It's such an awesome feeling to pick up a song that you've been listening to your entire life and to be able to play it. So my first goal was play Sweet Child of Mine. Now that I can play it, in a way, it takes some of the magic out, but then it makes it truly personal.
Right.
Like, oh my God, I'm doing the thing that / a guitarist who I've admired my whole life is able to do. Do I sound like him? No, I'll never be to that level, but I sound good enough, and you feel the music even more.
People know what you're playing when you play it. So,
well, that's I think one of the most recognizable openings to a song ever.
True. Yeah. Awesome. All right. So you recently launched a new venture called Brand Built. I'm a member of that community. It's really fun. I say fun a lot, apparently, but it's very educational, very informative. I'm learning a ton. So tell us a little bit about what Brand Built is and what's happened in your life since you launched that program.
Yep. So it is fun because if you don't have fun doing whatever it is you're doing, you're not going to really learn the new skills you need to. You're not going to want to show up, right? If going to the gym is boring, you don't want to show up again, right? So you have to make it fun. We are a business, LinkedIn, and life coaching program. Essentially, we are a community, and we provide the culture that solopreneurs crave and don't have. Solopreneurs have the worst culture in the world. They sit in their homes by themselves, and the culture is dictated by one and only one crazy human, right? If they're having a bad day, well, the whole company's having a bad day. So there is a need to join communities that are uplifting, supportive, positive, motivational. Accountability is part of the program. And that's what Brand Built is. We are the culture that solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, wantrepreneurs, and professionals seeking to exit and start something of their own can achieve. We teach heavy LinkedIn. We are all about learning LinkedIn because LinkedIn is essentially the street that prospects walk along. It's up to us to learn how to dress up our windows and invite them in to make that sale or close that deal, right? We don't have storefronts. We have the LinkedIn streets. So we use LinkedIn as our marketing tool to attract our ICP. Absolutely. So we believe that every one of our members should know how to master LinkedIn and use it effectively to build that funnel and that outreach strategy, that content strategy. But besides that, it's about business coaching, the fundamentals from how do I do this? How do I do that? How do I raise capital? How do I exit even, right? How do I attract that first employee? How do I find that first ICP? How do I grow and scale? It's all about business coaching. And then it is life as well, because when you join something where, in our case, 215 or more members are part of, and you're having a bad day, and you post that in the content or you post that as a comment, there's going to be a whole bunch of people that jump on it and say, hey, let me help you out. Let me lift you out of this hole. And when you're having a good day, well, that's infectious. People love positivity. That's what we created.
Yeah. Yeah. It is fun. But I'm learning a lot. And you cover everything from how to optimize the look of your profile to what to post and what to say. And I'll tell you, I was a LinkedIn skeptic for a really long time, lumped it in with all the other social media. And it is unlike any of the other platforms. And because I'm now promoting the Speakers Collaborative on other platforms, I now realize just how different and valuable LinkedIn is. And I couldn't be more happy for that distinction. Also couldn't be more happy to be part of Brand Built and learn as much as I'm learning about that, what you call the main street of business, that place where people go to shop for you. So what has happened? You guys just launched this year. What's happened in your life and your business since you launched?
Sure. We started with the concept January of this year, and it's flown by. We're now in our 8th month. 215 members, which has scaled quite nicely. They're solid members that are very supportive. They are very positive. We turned it into a real company, which is very important. Nat and I are fully committed. Right? This is our retirement. The business itself is what I want to do for the rest of my life. This is the relevancy that I was looking for after the exit blues. So you'll see me wheel up to this chair one day, maybe cane up to this chair, standing desk, because I feel relevant, important, and purposeful. And that's why Nat and I started this. We wanted to help people out that couldn't essentially afford a full price of a high quality or highly effective professional coach, mentor, advisor, or guide. So this is a way that we're giving back. So, we are, as I said, we're a real company out of Delaware. We're an LLC. Why is that important? Because most communities are a simple side hustle for the founder or the co-founders. We don't want this to be a side hustle. We're purposeful. We're constantly investing and reinvesting back into the company and growing it like a business. So what does that mean? Well, we just brought on a member that does events. We're going to have in-person real events, live events, speaking sessions, seminars, getaways, networking opportunities, because that's what a real company would do. That's what a community that has real purpose should do. You're building these bonds with people that you talk to probably more than most in your family on a given day. So why not meet them in real life?
I feel like it's appropriate to show Kyle's comment here. LFG.
There you go.
All in for it. That's cool. So you have, as you talked about in your intro, you've started businesses, you've exited, you've been CEO, you've been Fortune 500, you're now doing brand built, and all of these things. What is the one thing that you wish you had known then, pick a then, that you know now?
Everything that I know now. It's everything that I talk about when it comes to business coaching or even LinkedIn. Yeah, if I knew that back then, I would be even further ahead than I am now. But here's the thing, I wouldn't change anything.
Right.
Every bump in the road, every failure, misstep, stumble, as cliche as it is, I've rewarded all of them because they were the deepest learning lessons. So, my job, or I look at it as my role, is to help our members avoid some, not all, but some of the mistakes I've already made on your behalf.
Nice.
Right. So, buying too much copier paper, that was a mistake I made. We had moved into an office and I bought, I think 10 boxes filled with however many reams are in there. And this, the Staples delivery guy shows up with his hand truck and he puts down the 10 boxes in our small office. And that took up how many square feet, right? And my business partner comes out and goes, "What the F is this?" Like, I ordered copier paper. He's like, "You didn't need copier paper for 10 years. But I didn't know, right? I didn't know the quantity I needed. I had no expectation. We were just starting out.
Right.
Granted, it wasn't the biggest waste of money, but those $200 was still, at a startup, which has very minimal funds and no revenue, still $200, right? So it's a simple rudimentary thing, but you learn these lessons over time. These are the things that I hope to impart on the new solopreneurs, the new entrepreneurs, or the entrepreneurs. You don't need to buy all the copier paper. Heck, you don't even need paper anymore.
Right.
Send it electronically, right? Small example, but there are lots of little missteps, hiring mistakes, what questions to ask. When it comes to hiring, the biggest mistake is hiring off of the CV or the resume, not looking at LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the best resume you could ever have. In fact, I think my post tomorrow or the next day talks about that, right? Doing a background check on LinkedIn, seeing what engagement or comments your prospective candidate has, how much is their involvement, look at their network, look at what groups they're part of, what they talk about, what they discuss, what they post. That tells you who the person is. Hire on personality and work ethic. Don't always just look at the CV, because honestly, we all fudge a CV. We embellish. Managed a team of professional blah, blah, blahs. You had one direct report.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
So those are mistakes that new business owners, entrepreneurs, even existing ones, they make all the time. They hire on CV, check. All the boxes are checked. There's a lot more to look at.
Right. Yeah. And then they ask the question, why are they so bad? Or why did they not fit? Right. I love it.
It's important to realize that the person who's interviewing in front of you is their best version of themselves.
That's right.
Because if they're not getting the job. So they're always going to say yes and overpromise.
I really love it when you go to apply for a job, and I haven't done it in a while, and they ask for the links to your LinkedIn profile. Because I feel like maybe they're stepping into the 1990s in vetting their candidates and making sure they're not just a CV fit, but a culture fit.
Yeah.
What do they look like on a bad day? You can see that on social media.
Well, that's a hiring tactic right there. If you are an employee, a W-2 employee, and you're looking for a new position, your personal brand means just as much as someone who owns a business. In fact, even more.
That's right.
Because if you have a nice follower count and an audience and you have good content, well, of course, the company you're applying to is going to take that under consideration. If not, they're somewhat antiquated in their approach. But the more you put out there, the more your personality shines as professional and put together, the more likely you're going to get the job. Now, I have not hired people based on their social media. There have been numerous accounts where I had a great candidate in front of me interviewing, and then their open Facebook or open Instagram shows those partying pictures or just unprofessionalism or very political statements in either direction. I don't want you working for me.
That's right.
I don't want that risk.
That's right.
So that's anyone who's looking to apply for a job or get a new job, button up your social media. And if you want to post things that shouldn't be out there, make them private, but everything public, that should be your best billboard for yourself that you have ever created.
Absolutely. Love it. So, the Speakers Collaborative is my project to give more people access to the stage. one of the things I love to do here at the studio session is give you the stage by yourself. So how about 5 or so minutes of Darren sharing Darren? You up for it?
Sure.
All
5 minutes of me talking, that could just go on forever.
All right, I'll see you in a minute.
So you just want me to ramble on?
Ramble on.
Ramble on. Okay, what could I ramble about? Best thing you can do for your soul is be positive, be a good person, realize that karma will kick you in the butt. Always be ethical and take care of your health, your mind, your body. I think too many people skip one of those, if not multiple of those. Your mental wellness has to do with your physical wellness. So people, get to the gym, hike a mountain, go on a walk. Don't let the negative head trash come in. Don't let other people bother you. We spend more time worrying about what other people think of us than we do focusing on our success as a whole. I think that's really important. Envision your success and don't let anyone derail you or distract you from that path. There's going to be a lot of naysayers in your life, in your world. There's going to be people that tell you that you can't do something, that you won't do something. You will not do what you want. And that's great. Use that as fuel to prove people wrong, fuel to stay engaged and just keep climbing up that mountain. So that's my world of karma. Like I said, I do believe in karma. I do believe when you put good out there, it does come back at you. And I believe that good people tend to have a positive light and live a better life. And you should always focus on that. This is a lot harder than I thought, my friend. What else? I believe, as we know in the guitar, no, this is not a fake background. These drawers do work. Wow. Magic. What else? Let's go on a business tear. I believe that the fundamentals of business are true and proven. It's business. Your human emotions and math are the most universal languages on the planet. So you have to do the work. You have to put in the work. Everyone who is starting a business, regardless of if you like a task or not, you must go through it. Even a new restaurant owner must scrub the toilets so he knows where all the shit is. You have to do the work before you can delegate. You have to have many painful moments in starting a business, and you have to be willing to risk it all. Business is an absolute risk, but the biggest reward comes from putting in all of that work and suffering through all of the pain. So what I mean? It means you need to starve a little bit. When I started out, I was willing to give up food. Yes, food. No, this is not a recommendation. But that means that sometimes you have to stay in the office and you can't go out to eat with your friends. That means if you do what I did, you eat off of one Hot Pocket every single night for dinner for 18 months because that's what you could afford. But you don't complain about it. You put in the work. You want to see those big rewards? That's what every business book talks about. Someone had to suffer along the way. How many more minutes do I got on this?
You're good.
All right, good. That's hard. Speak about anything.
Yeah, anything. 5 minutes. So you know what I love, and I posted about this morning when I promoted today's session. I posted about going all in, and it's been interesting to watch you and Nat build Brand Built because you're both very successful, and you both have made plenty in the past and have exited well. And you probably didn't even need to do Brand Built from a financial perspective. But I've loved watching you go all in. I can definitely say you didn't half-ass this one. Now, you're probably not eating Hot Pockets anymore, but it has been fun to watch the growth of the program and the platform. But it's been just as fun to watch because I've been able to watch the two of you really give it your all and go all in as if your very existence depended on it.
Yeah. So that's essential for success is, I had an exit, but money isn't my goal, at least anymore. My goal is feeling like I belong, that I'm relevant, that I'm aligned with people, I'm useful as a human. I find there to be nothing less worthwhile than useless people. I don't mean that to sound like an insult, but if you don't work or provide or engage in society somehow, then that's a pretty sad existence.
Right.
After my exit, I floated around in a pool. Literally, it's a true story. I was in my pool. I was floating around. I had a Homer Simpson moment, drinking a can of beer. It was like 2 p.m. I heard the school bell go off, and I, for some reason, got instantly depressed, thinking, what if my kids walk in the backyard and see dad just floating in the pool? What kind of an example is that? Teaching my kids hard work? No, that's not cool. So I got really depressed after that for a matter of months. I couldn't dig out of it. The reason why I show up every day and throw everything into what I do is my goals have changed. My goal went from earning the most that I possibly could wealth-wise to now realizing that all wealth did was remove a bunch of don'ts, things that you have to worry about. So I don't have to worry about paying a mortgage. I don't have to worry about paying a health bill or paying for college for my kids. That's all well and good. But it ushered in a new set of worries that now showing up every day, getting back to basics, fundamentals, being relevant again, being purposeful, helping others along their journey, that is my goal. That is my passion. That is my fuel to make this engine run. Nice. And that's why I show up every day. But this is with any business venture, you'll find that serial entrepreneurs show up, they bootstrap as much as they can. Even when they do capital raising, it's bootstrapping the capital raise just to get to that next level. It's lather, it's rinse, repeat over and over again. And there is satisfaction with every new venture, every new step.
Wow. That's great. All right. I know you're giving it your all. And I know that you're an active family member and a guitar player. What are you reading these days?
I don't read.
Don't read. Okay.
I have ADHD. If you can't tell, the mind of it, you gave me 5 minutes. I went everywhere I could, right? I have ADHD. It's been getting worse as an adult. I don't know if that's like normal or not, but I don't stop it. I don't medicate it. I don't want to. It's been my superpower. I know a lot of people don't take that lightly. ADHD is not a superpower for many, and it sucks. But if you learn how to harness it, it can be. I cannot sit down and pay attention to a book, so I will listen to audio. My favorite business book is Getting Naked by Patrick Lencioni. It was like a business Bible to me. Right. It spoke about how you remove the 3 biggest fears: the fear of vulnerability, the fear of embarrassment, the fear of failure from your life. You start off consulting, regardless of if you have that sale. Assume the sale. You'll be better off as a sales professional, as a business professional, and as a person as well. So that one I've listened to, I think the last time I checked was 682 times.
That was your post today, wasn't it?
Yes, that was the post that I recycle that post or repurpose it every once in a while. I believe in it so heavily. I think I did that one on Friday or Saturday.
That's cool.
But yeah, that one's a big one. Traction, which is an entrepreneurial operating system. Every other cliched business book I've listened to. One of my favorites was Shoe Dog.
Shoe Dog.
The Nike story.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a good one. That one had some real good fundamentals in it, but it's also the story of Nike and the perseverance of Phil Knight and what he had to go through. So that one was a great one. But other than that, no, I don't sit down and read other than what I do all day, every day on LinkedIn and then in our Brand Built community. My attention span isn't there. I lose the page halfway through it. And then I have to, even my own posts, after I write them out, I'll start reading it and I lost it and I have to go back. It's frustrating. It is what it is.
Does that tell you something about the post?
No, it tells me something about me. I just have the attention span of an adult with ADHD.
Yeah. My rule of thumb is if I'm bored by my own content, I need to redo it.
Well, no, it's not bored. It's I lost what I just read.
Okay.
It's a pretty universal thing if you do have ADHD, but like I said, it's something that I like to celebrate because it's the reason why I was able to be a successful CEO is you could task switch easily. I could have this conversation with you right now and have a completely separate conversation or project the second I end this, like we didn't even speak.
Yeah.
Whereas most people retain what they just went through or they have to, digest or just decompress a little bit. I don't need to do that. And I think it's the reason why you'll see the majority of highly successful CXOs or leaders have a form of ADD or ADHD.
Yeah. That's actually, it's funny. I talked about that at lunch today. I can focus on something. I don't have ADHD, but it takes me almost as much time to get out of that to move on to something else. And my lunch companion said, well, what is ADHD for an adult? What does it look like? I said, well, from what I can gather, they can deep dive on something and give a ton of attention to it and then immediately pivot to something else.
Yeah. You can obsess. So you're what I call a normal brain. I'll make a better term for it.
I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah. Well, just about everybody now has a form of ADHD. We have, just because of the scrolling, the doom scrolling, we have zero ability to stay on task. We need to be distracted. We want immediate gratification, right? Thank you, all the socials out there. But no, there is truth to that. After this conversation, I will be able to completely do something totally different, like we didn't even meet. I don't need to digest it or decompress from it. Whereas, as you said, you're going to take a few moments to get over this. It's just easier for me to task switch. And that's an important, critical decision-making tool that you use, especially as you grow a company and you get to scale where you have 1 million people and 1 million distractions, 1 million things coming at you all at once.
Yeah, I love that you term that as a superpower as opposed to a hindrance.
I like to be careful with it because there are plenty of people that either didn't have the socioeconomic advantage of higher education, or they weren't in the right place at the right time, or their ADHD is so severe that it is debilitating, right? There's varying degrees of everything. As I said, mine has been getting, I won't say progressively worse, but I'm aware of it, acutely aware of it, and it has gotten worse. But growing up, it was I was the class clown. I couldn't read, so I had to be in the resource room.
Right.
I couldn't sit still. In college, though, I was getting 4.0s. And that's because college required a lot of independent lab time, things that I was engaged with, things that I was an engineering student. I loved engineering. That kept my butt in my seat paying attention because I was so excited to be there. Right. At work, I found tasks that kept me engaged and excited, but I couldn't sit still in my seat or my position. And then as a business owner, lots of excitement there.
Right.
But if you don't have those opportunities, you could be one of the most difficult employees to manage. And that is not a superpower. So it's really, truly learning how to harness or control yourself when needed. And that's the most difficult thing for someone who has ADHD.
Fascinating. We could do another half hour on that.
Sure. Going to make me speak for another 5 minutes straight.
No, we're good. I normally ask people, do you have any questions for me? Anything you want to talk about that we haven't already covered?
Who is Cody Hand?
Who is Cody Hand? I'm a normal-brained attorney. No, I wouldn't say normal-brained ever. So Cody Hand I'm an entrepreneur as well. I'm a lawyer. And in 2023, I started the Speakers Collaborative, which is why we're here. And just last week, I announced an expansion of that program to now it's a full service cohort-based coaching program for people who want to be more comfortable on stage, want to get on stage to be public speakers, but not necessarily just public speakers. Anybody who wants to improve their communication style, authors who may want to promote a book, stand-up comedians like Nat Berman, who's going to be on my stage one of these days. Anybody who needs to get on stage and needs some coaching to do that, we have a 2-month program. And then at the end of that 2 months, we have a fully produced live event. You can see the last one on YouTube. And I'm excited about where we are on that. And I'm excited to welcome new people into our cohorts and really help people launch. And I think what you're doing at Brand Built kind of reminds me of what I'm doing, in that we are taking people who have a desire to do something and giving them the resources to do it. And I'm not necessarily teaching them the hows as much as I am giving them the tools so that they can learn it themselves.
I love that. I know more people need to practice presenting and, kind of like a Toastmasters type thing, because, I get on how many calls, how many Zooms every day, how many do you get on every day? And when the other person cannot articulate who they are, their pitch, their elevator speech, whatever you call it, they can't articulate proper sentences or structure, can't sell. It's a big loss, because today we are more social than ever. We are comfortable in our homes. We're not commuting. We have more time to actually work and collaborate, but we're doing it over these screens.
Mm-hmm.
This skill is incredibly transferable and necessary. I think colleges should be teaching these skills as well, presenting via the computer, presenting via whatever you want to call it. If you can't have fully articulate conversation and at least speak for a 30-second clip without embarrassment or fear or tripping over your words,
Mm-hmm.
then you need to practice, and you need collaborative cohorts like what you're putting together. So kudos.
And I love you guys did a pitch session at Brand Built to really refine that 30-second pitch. I thought that
Pitch Perfect. Really cool. One of our members renamed it today, and I love it. Pitch Perfect. It's all about the 30-second commercial.
Yeah. Awesome. Darren, anything else?
No, I go on forever. You want to stay for the next 24 hours? Let's go. No, kidding. I think we covered most.
All right, we'll schedule some more time. I really appreciate you joining us, everybody. Thanks, Darren Mass, for joining us. If you want to know more about Brand Built, the address is on the screen. It's www.school.com/brandbuilt. More about the Speakers Collaborative is at www.thespeakerscollaborative.com. We're also on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and all the other thingies out there. So, Darren, have a great day. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. And thank you all for showing up.